What is good, guys? It's Ray J back with another video. And in this, I want to break down what's happening with Tesla, SPY, Nvda, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm going to break down what's going on with the inflationary data that just came out, what's happening with more factors involving Tesla, what you should be watching for as time progresses. But before I begin devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Weeble link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Weeble and deposit $500, you guarantee 20 free stocks. The offer ends very soon, in just about a week from now. Anyways, for Tesla, as you guys can see, this thing has dipped quite a bit. We're actually trying to rebound right here towards this 172 area. This is where we have this resistance. Now, Tesla is trying to push so far, and so is the market, but this is just the first part of the reaction we're getting from CPI. CPI is also going to be affecting the FOMC meeting, which will cause an even bigger move in the markets. So far, we're seeing just the first part of the reaction, and this is leading to a big domino effect, right? So we'll have to see what happens moving forward. But CPI is pumping the markets. Tesla's currently up about almost 1%. Looking at SPY, we're up over what is this? This is up about 0.8% right now. We're actually approaching 541, a new all-time high on SPY. QQQ is doing the same thing. This is up about 1% to about 472.5 is one of the levels we called out. The market's at new all-time highs, continuing to pump because CPI came in aligned with expectations. So let's talk about the data first before I break down the charts. CPI came out. So we'll start off with core CPI. This was at 0.2% below expectations. Year over year, we're at 3.4% below expectations. So core came out pretty good. For all items, CPI was at 0% for the month of May. That's month over month. That's below expectations. And last but not least, for inflation for all items, it was at 3.3%, below expectations. So overall, the market got a good inflationary report. Everything was below expectations. The market's pushing as a result of this to new all-time highs. Now, right now, the market's holding up very well, but don't forget that we also have the FOMC meeting coming up. We have the interest rate hike decision at 2 p.m., not to mention Jerome Powell giving a speech at 2:30 p.m. We'll have to wait and see what that also causes. So far, with inflation coming in aligned with expectations, there's a good chance that Jerome Powell could remain optimistic and continue to pump the markets. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens with their next report. This is what the CPI data looks like. As you guys can see, there's a downtrend for core and also for all items. Overall, it's still, continuing to fall, and the Fed would likely be more optimistic thanks to this. I'll go over more of this data a little bit later on, but this is what the chart looks like. For more data, there's been a lot of talk about, the Fed and CPI all coming out on the same day. And we also have more talk about OpenAI. This is making a lot of headlines right now. It's stirring fear over the company's control and their shares. So that's something else that's worth noting. I just wanted to note that, at least for now. The fear and greed index currently is at neutral, not really shifting much. We'll have to see what happens once we open. And then also, right now, there's a 99.7% chance the Fed keeps rates the same, but the Fed is incentivized to cut at least towards the end of this year. It's going to take some time, of course, but so far, the inflationary targets are still aligned with expectations. Tesla's also claiming it has two Optimus humanoid robots working autonomously in the factory. So I'm not going to talk as much about this right now. I'll talk more about this in a later video, but this would be great news if this is not only announced, but we actually get to see more details about what it's capable of doing. But so far, this is actually very, very awesome. We also have a lot of growth that's coming because of this, and there could be a lot more hype thanks to AI. So I'm very excited about this. Chinese sales also came out about 12,000 for the week of June between the 3rd and the 9th. So that's actually a bit of a drop compared to what we saw last week, but not too horrible overall. I'll talk more about these numbers a little bit later. I just want to focus on the charts now. So for Tesla, we've based around 168, right? That's a good sign. Tesla's trying to rebound. We want to see if we could break past 172. If we break this, I could be looking for a move all the way back up towards 173.8, and then 176 will be our two targets. So watch those as resistance, 173.8 and then 176. For support, we need to hold above 170. If we lose this, we could be dipping back down towards 169. We'll have to see if we could hold up. So far, there's a good chance that some might try to push it a little higher. Let's hope we get back to 173.84. Now, remember, this is just the first part of the reaction. There's going to be a huge reaction coming. The first reaction is now. The second reaction will be after FOMC. CPI is affecting FOMC, so that's why I'm saying there's going to be a huge reaction coming. We're just seeing part one of the reaction, and so far the market may push more, including Tesla. For SPY, okay, Tesla, by the way, has more upside potential. Let's hope we get that push. For SPY, it's the same thing essentially. We're actually breaking all-time highs right now. We're actually well above even the 540 area. And there's no sign of this stopping yet, so it's still trying to push. Obviously, we're in new territory, so just be careful because it's going to be tighter. Right now, our resistance is currently at 542. If this breaks, could be going all the way up towards 544. SPY is on fire. Oh, it's continuing to hold up well, and we'll have to see how it reacts to these levels, 544 and 545. But overall, it's bullish. It's still trying to fight 542. We'll see if that breaks. If we don't break this, watch 540 and then 538 as supports. There's a good chance we do try to push past 542 to get to 544. Overall, it looks more bullish. For Nvda, we're currently trying to push back to the high up here. I do see potential to go all the way up towards resistance right over here around this 524.5 area. So I see potential in that. I think that this could continue to push all the way up to this resistance. If that breaks, we'll be looking at 526 as the next target. This is holding up very, very well. So look for a little push on Nvidia. To be bearish, you want to see it basically lose 118 to 119. It's not really doing that. As of right now, it's holding up very well and continuing to pump, so it's favoring the bulls. For Bitcoin, Bitcoin is bouncing back up thanks to CPI. We're approaching the 70,000 area. So, if this continues, we'll be looking at this resistance right here towards 70,100. So I do favor upside a little bit more. For the QQQ, we're actually trying to push right now. We have 472.5 as our resistance. If this breaks, then I'll be looking for essentially 474 is the next resistance, and then 475. I think there's a good chance we could be pushing a little higher towards these levels. We are looking more bullish on the QQQ. If we lose 470, then I would I would say there's a risk of slipping back down to 468. But there's no sign of us breaking down that low yet. It looks to me like it's going to try to continue to shuffle up at these levels. But resistance will get tighter the higher we go. Aapl is also, once again, holding up relatively well. We're currently around 207 as resistance to 208 and supports at 204. We might just kind of shuffle for now. We'll see which way we break. But look at this range, at least for the time being. For a few more, like Super Micro, we have resistance to watch for around 800. We could try to push a little higher and closer to that. We'll see if we reject or not. As if we could break past 800, we could turn back to bullish. No sign quite yet. For Coinbase, we're trying to push higher. We're going to be looking at 255 as our resistance. We'll see if it breaks through this or not, but we're looking bullish right now on Coinbase. I think we could be going up for 260. Amazon, looking more bullish. 190 is potential target. Pretty good in my personal opinion. Meta, looking more bullish as well. It's trying to get up to 515. That's the target I called out. If we break this, our next target could be all the way up here towards 520. So 520 is a potential target. We're looking pretty good. For GameStop is also trying to push. We're going to be looking at a test of about this 20 EMA. That's currently where we are right now. If we break and hold above 30, I'll be looking for a push back up towards 38. If we fail to break this, we could reject. So I'll be watching for that very carefully. That's what we're seeing at least so far on GME. With that being said, guys, thank you all so much for listening. I hope you guys have a great day, and just know that right now the market's in a very, very critical place. So we'll see how we end up reacting with all this data coming out. So far on Tesla, I'm optimistic it's going to try to push a little higher, so we'll give it the time it needs. But until I come back again, take care, guys, and I'll see you guys in just a few hours. Thank you, and peace out.